Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the presentation of DEKRA. My name is Mark Gelissen and Jeroen Bruinooge from DEKRA. Before we start, I just want to ask, because it's quite awful if you're presenting for a complete Dutch audience and there are no English-speaking people in. Are there any English-speaking people in the audience? Yes. Then we'll continue in Dutch. So thank you very much for being here. I'm really proud because I'm from a partner, Bizomate, and I'm very proud that one of our customers is speaking on our behalf. We'll do a kind of how do you call that, a joint presentation, but the main floor is for Jeroen. So Jeroen, please go ahead, and sometimes I'll jump in and tell a little bit about what we have noticed in the project.
All right, good afternoon. You see the difference between an IT guy and a business guy. I just took off my jacket. We want to take you on a story of DEKRA, specific DEKRA Belgium. For a start, DEKRA Belgium is a company founded in Germany in 1925, and we are all around the world. We are in 50 countries with 44,000 people. But this is a story of DEKRA Belgium. And to be honest, today a proud man stands before you. Proud and a little bit nervous. I'm not afraid to do this presentation, but I'm not so used to do it in English. So please help me to get along with it, and then we make it a joint success. But proud because we just finished the first phase of 2 new projects we started with Mendix. And the first phase was only 9 weeks, and we brought the first application live, and it is working. And that makes me very proud. It's a great joint effort between developers and the business, and together they set a goal, and they reached the goal and set the first product live, and it's working. And I'm very proud of that. But it's not something that happened overnight. And the current success started in 2014. In 2014, we started with the first Mendix application. DEKRA just installed a new system called Synergy. And the management was not happy about the results. The return on investment wasn't as good as they hoped. So they asked Bizomate, please help us out. Why aren't we getting what we are expecting? And please, can you help us? And so
that's where I jump in. In fact, we are Mendix builders, but in the end, I think we are quite good in building a good app. A good example is that our hackathon team won the SIG rating, so the quality rating. We are number 1, so we are really good builders. It's not me, it's the team. But the right question is, are we building the right thing? If you're not building the right thing, then you can build it in a very good way, but that doesn't bring any value. So we came in as a kind of consultancy company. So Jeroen and his team asked us, can you have a look at this system? Because we invested in it, and the return on investment is not coming fully out of it. So we jumped in, we looked at it, what's happening here, what's happening there. The system, in fact, was a good system. The system was doing what it was supposed to do, namely claim registration. What they were missing is steering. What you often need in a system is not only registration, you have a process, and you have to go through the process, and you have to be steered through the process. And the problem of Synergy was that's not what the system was meant to do, but also was not doing. And however, DEKRA was looking for that. So in fact, what they were missing, which is quite important in a race car, a steering wheel. So what we did, in fact, we said, let me look at your operational costs. We made an estimate. You can save 30%. 30% of the operational costs. In fact, I went even back to Jeroen's colleague and said, I'll lower my consultancy cost to cost price and give me 10% of your savings for the next 5 years.
He
And
didn't
now
dare.
he didn't dare. Now he's still saying to me, Mark, I'm so happy I didn't do that trick. But I think that's the new model. So that's where we started, 30%.
Yeah, 30% for business and on savings that you can't ignore. So we started off with the project. We never had seen the tool. We never had seen Mendix. We never had seen Avola, decision modeling tool we use. But on the other hand, who asked a carpenter what kind of saw or hammer he uses to build your table?
Let's ask the public. Who is asking a carpenter who comes to your house, who has to build a table, hey, what kind of saw or what kind of hammer are you using? Who? Oh, no one. Strange. Do you ask your IT companies to come in and who are you using Mendix or OutSystems or whatever? Do you ask that? Oh yeah, why? It's all about consultancy, about thinking, challenging. I think that's, and then the tool has to be good, and this is the best tool, Mendix, but they said no, so sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, the IT guys want to know the solution. I can understand that. But it was the first time we did an agile project, and we liked it. We liked the way you can work on an agile way. But it wasn't easy. We saw the big advantage of working together with Bisomate. And we started to implement the first parts of the flow. There was some misunderstanding between developers and the business, but Biso didn't panic.
No, after the first sprint, and I was in fact the project manager. I know Catherine, I think she's in the room, and the product owner, she said to me, after 2 weeks, so the first sprint, she came in with 10 files. She said, oh, Mark, I'm going to test your process. I said, after 2 weeks, but she went on and she said, no of the files, no, so 0 can go through the process. I said, not a problem. Catherine, stay calm. It's the first sprint.
Well, what happened after the second one?
0% went through the flow. And
you
then
still stay calm?
No, and I said, Houston, we have a problem. Oh wait, that was the first. That was the first. Houston, we have a problem, because if after 4 weeks still 0 files go through the process, you have a problem. So we decided together, let's stop the project.
Well,
because
between Christmas and New Year, so it was an easy choice.
That was, yeah, indeed, you had days off and we had to work. But I think we managed to stop the project. And why did we do that? Because something was wrong. So that's...
Well, to be honest, this was really important. Afterwards, things were running well and running smooth. But if we had done this in a waterfall project, we had a huge problem at the end of the project. It wouldn't work. And now it worked. And we worked on. And the business people, and I think that's really important, had the feeling that the developers were listening to them. They could influence the process. And they were really involved in the project. And that was the big advantage we discovered working on an agile way. And that made this project a successful project. And it was the first application we launched. In the end, to be honest, it was fantastic. And we were really happy about this project.
I remember with the Monday we went live. On Sunday afternoon, I was still doing some work. And I got an email from Catherine stating, hey Mark, this is the best application we've ever had within DEKRA. I said, oh, is that true? And I know why she said that. Because we implemented what she had in her head. She was the boss. She had something in her mind and said, can you build this together with me? So I was really proud that she said it, but in fact, she should be proud of herself. So that's what you do in Mendix. Don't buy an off-the-shelf product. Really take it and mold it towards what you have in your head. So after that, we thought, hey, we did that in one area of DEKRA. You have how many business units?
3 others.
3 others. Can we also use it in fire, in automotive, in Claims National, because we build Claims International. So let's have a look at that.
And we started a new project. We started it last year. We were 3 years ahead, and it became a challenging project. All new people on our side were involved, a new crew and a Bisomate's site, and it wasn't a smooth project. No doubt about the commitment of Bisomate, commitment of our business. We had no problem, but we had a lot of trouble with agile working. One word I can't hear anymore is MVP. The MVP became the total product, and new functionalities were added every sprint, and it became huge. And we worked on an MVP for over a year, almost for over a year. It took us a year to bring it live, and we still were calling it an MVP. But despite the struggle, we persevered. And here, once again, it was clear that this is about partnership. We had to do it together. Bisomate, as developers, and some guys are sitting here in front, and our business people had to work really tight together, and our relationship was tested several times over the last year, and sometimes hard.
Yes, indeed.
But each time we came out stronger together. And now, at this moment, we can say property, which we built last year, is live, and we're using it and rolling it out to all our offices in Belgium. So that project eventually is successful. And it's given us, and that's really important for us, it's given us building blocks for the 2 projects we are starting now. And as I started earlier, that we are live now with one of the applications is due to the investment we did last year. We learned how to work agile, and we've built a system that we can reuse and adapt to a new situation. And that was really important for us.
Yeah. Also in a technical way, how we set up the system is with microservices. So now the other units can just use and reuse the microservices in their own units, which really wins a lot. And now, if you're going on a higher level, if you want to export it to other countries, you just have building blocks. So I think that's indeed, and we always tell Kurt, who is the business owner of that department, you're a little bit unlucky because you paid and you had to pay for all of the rest of them.
I'm the lucky guy.
Yeah. Someone has to be lucky.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's really important. Before we started the new projects, we came together and said to each other what lessons are to be learned when we start the new project. And there were a lot of lessons to be learned, but we took 3 that look small steps, but are really important, and 3 key issues. The product owner. It is a demanding job, and it takes a lot of time. You have to invest in your product owner. That was a mistake we made last year. The product owner had 2 days a week, but was still running his full job. And that wasn't working. For our new projects, we changed that. The start of the project. Last year, we just started building and took us from there. This year, we started off with a proper kickoff. We invested over a week for the 2 projects before we started the project. I'll come back to that later. But that was really important. And, as I call it, a war room, a project room. Last year, we didn't have a separate project room. Now we have 2, and that makes a real big difference. It's an investment, because we didn't have a room within our offices. We have one that we do externally, but it pays off. And for us, it's really important.
Yeah, what I heard last week was great, because we have a big brown paper on the wall, and now the business is already testing. The business walks in and just says, tick in the box, tested that, functionality is available. Business who's not involved in the project just comes in. They're involved. That's change management. Just make it visible. Get them in the room. I think that's really something we learned over time to do that.
Yeah. It's really important. You have a special room. The team comes there together, and it works. And we are really happy that we made that decision for the new projects. We ended the building of property last year. We wanted to start the new project, but in between, we got a question from a strategic partner of us who wanted a web portal. Wanted a portal which we could communicate with the customer, but also with, for us, his client. And we didn't have one. It's an important client. It was strategic because they're intended to bring new business. So for us, it was a difficult choice. Can we build it now? Do we have to wait? It was a struggle within our team, but we decided we built a web platform. We need it, and for us, it's important. We came back to Bizo. They formatted a team, and within three weeks, we built a web portal. We brought it back to our client, and they were really happy. And the cool part of this is that 2 weeks ago, we got the new assignment. We won the tender, and the web portal was really important for that. So internally, we've shown that we can build something in 3 weeks and even win business. And for us, it was important, of course, because of winning the business. That's what we want, but also to align our team and see how successful this application, Mendix, can be for us. And that was, for us, a really important step. And now we are doing 3 large projects. We have learned a lot of lessons. And I like to share the 3 most important ones. 1, a joint target. As I mentioned before, set a goal with your team. We create an open dialogue between your team and the consultants. They should have a clear target. And the best way to create this, to give the consultants at the start a couple of days with your business. They have traveled along with our experts. They been on our floor and looked into our systems. And after that, they come back and they speak the same language. They know what your business is like. The consultants understand the problems in a way much better than you just tell what's going on. And that investment for us was really important.
And I think what also came out of those, I think it was 3 days you worked with the customer or with the experts. And our guys came back and said to the product owner, hey, Sjoerd, great product you have in mind, but if we look at this may be a bigger problem, something we can solve in a shorter time with a higher business value. It's all about business value. So we were very lucky that this product owner said, whoa, that's a good idea. So he changed his product like, oh, I'm not stuck in this way. No, these guys, these strange guys comes in, the IT guys, they ask all kinds of questions. We use design thinking, we use ideation, we use 5 times why. In 3 days, and we changed the product. And I think the business value was much higher. So that's lesson 2. Let the modeler, the Mendix modeler, if you need hands, you can get hands everywhere. Use them as brains. Because these people come in, it's our daily job to challenge you, to build things for you. If you want the brains, you can maybe even outsource it to lower wage countries because we are not cheap. We are quite expensive, but we deliver a lot of value. It's all about value. So I think that's, for us, together, that's lesson 2. But also for our people, it makes it way more interesting to be brains than to be hands. Without hands, you can live. Without brains, you can't. At least most people.
And I think last year in the project, we had more hands than brains. That had nothing to do with the brains of the developers, but we weren't able to work in a way that we do today. Some are the same consultants, so that's not a problem. But we have learned as a business to work agile and to better understand what we have to tell the developers, and that worked out really well.
It's also a mindset. I think from both parties, it's a mindset that, okay, how are we going to use each other? How do we respect each other? And so I think that's it's all about mindset.
Yeah, and we are in Belgium a company. We are the Belgian division, so we like a good informal governance. We like to go out to eat.
That's lunch.
Lunch can take all afternoon, and we really enjoy it. But in every project, you need a formal governance. We have our formal governance in place, no doubt about that. But we found out that the informal governance is even more important. We go out together as management of BISO, management of DEKRA. We see each other informal every month. And we do so for the last year. And it's really important that you both get a feeling what's going on. Is everything in place? You can speak about things you don't speak about in a formal way. And I'm sure that the informal discussions we had were really important to make this project succeed. Otherwise, we were head to head, and now we were joined forces to reach our goals.
And I totally agree with that. Like we are together in the steering committee, and of course in the steering committee are formal, or like ours can be formal if I want to. But then we discuss but then we go after, and we call it in Dutch paardje prikken. What means paardje prikken? We always go to one fixed place restaurant, and it's a little bit, some people don't like, but they have a very good horse steak. So we don't look at the menu and say 4 horse steaks, please, medium rare. And we take a very nice bottle of wine. And in this 1 hour, the 4 of us discuss the real thing behind the steering committee. So I drive back and I'm calling, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that. Because then, Jeroen, and it's not about hidden agendas, not at all, but you're in a relaxed way, you have a nice glass of wine. I'm doing that with all of my customers now. So I'm getting fatter and fatter. But I think it's so important. One other customer told me, a big pension fund, I don't want to be in a steering committee. I said, okay, we don't do a steering committee. Come on Thursday evening and have a beer with me. Golden hour. Because he tells me exactly what the pain is, what we can do, and we drink a beer together and laugh. So I think I totally agree with you, otherwise we would have been fighting, which we have been doing, but I think who in his relationship never has a fight? That's good. I thought I was the only one. Yeah, a lot. But in Dutch it's the saying, zonder wrijving geen glans. And that's, I think, a very important saying.
The Belgian people are getting really annoyed now.
Sorry, Tom, I shouldn't say that anymore. But I think it's a very important one.
And then the next steps. Our way forward. We really like the flexibility we have with Mendix and Avola. And at this moment, DEKRA International is seriously considering the use of the system worldwide. We don't know what the outcome is, but things are looking good. Our Dutch friends, Dutch colleagues are looking into our system, and we work close together. And of course, we are very proud that we started it with Bisomate in Belgium, and now the group is rethinking using Mendix in all places. So we are proud of that. And that's in short our story.
Yeah, but we as Bisomate, we are also proud of it. So you see the team there shouting because we won. And I think that's also, I'm proud of it because the story of DEKRA, when we came in, I think 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was a completely different company than it is now. And to be honest, that's not only, of course, because of this, because they developed a lot themselves as people, as management team. But like Jeroen said last week to me, when he came out of a management team meeting, he said, Mark, it's so strange. We are not agile in IT at the moment. We are agile in our business. And to be honest, that's the only purpose you can have. Agile in IT is not interesting at all. It's a means, it's not a target. If you're only agile in IT and your brains in the management is not agile, I don't care. So that's, I think, what DEKRA did, and I really respect it because they went through the complete adventure together with us, and they just did it. So I'm really proud of what we together, but especially what DEKRA did. You heard Jeroen mention the word AVLA twice or three times. So what we did, in fact, as an architecture, is the steering layer. We build it up in I think, quite a clever way, because often if you build a workflow or a process in a company, then it's fixed. So what DEKRA has, you have how many customers in the Claims International? 184, I think, something Katrien said?
I don't know.
So 184 different customers. And most of these customers want to have a different process. They say, oh, wait a minute, if you're step 2, I would like to go to step 5 and not to 3. But the other customer says, yeah, but I would like to go to step 3. So we modeled the complete process flow of all activities which can be done, and we put a decision engine on top of it. And the very complex rules we put in that decision engine, and in Mendix, we have the flow. So now every time we...
And the decisions are managed by the business,
Exactly.
not by IT. That's for us really important.
So
Makes
then-
it more flexible.
Indeed, yeah. So, but now if a new customer comes in, you model in AVLA. So that's what the business does. They model in AVLA. This customer wants to have step 3. And by the way, it's Mercedes-Benz car lease, who pays a lot of money. They only want to have people in handling the claims who have 3 years experience. Set it in the rules. So the complex rules, the SLA, in fact, steers your process. A lot of companies think that the SLA is meant to report on. I think that's not true. An SLA is meant to steer your process. So now they can do that. Very flexible. Just the business does that. So that's what we did. AVLA for the complex rules, and Mendix for all the integrations, for the user interface.
We see them as one.
Yeah,
You
indeed.
see Mendix, Avola, for us, it's the same. We both need them to have a good process. So they're really important for us.
Yeah.
Summarize?
Yeah, so should we summarize? Yeah?
What is that? Create an open dialogue with a positive, critical attitude in your team. Use the consultants as brains and not only as hands, like Mark said. Arrange informal communication. For us, that was really important. Create a separate project room. Sounds little, impact is huge. And for me, a really important one, support the product owner. It is a tough job. It isn't easy. So for us, he or she is really important in this process. That was our story. Are there questions?
Any questions?
First of all, compliments on the English.
Thank you.
We're worried about that. It seems to me that a lot of effort goes into the agile transformation.
Yes.
Here there are a lot in what comparison the agile transformation actually add the value compared to the Mendix platform.
I tend to say 50-50. And you start with building your system, but once it's launched and starts a couple of months earlier, but then the change kicks in and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. 50-50 maybe to be kind to the developers, maybe it's even more for change, but 50-50 at a minimum.
But of course, the system should be good. If you have a rubbish system, also as IT developers, then you have a bad time. And it's now time for the commercial break. Mendix is a good system. And I think over time it's improving. Of course, every software has some hiccups, some breaks, but I think the quality, how it's persistent good at the moment, the last few years. And I think that's really important because DEKRA, this is their core business. They build a complete core. If this system is out, complete
we're
all
done.
customers, I think they can close their books.
Yeah, then we're down in Belgium.
Yeah.
The Netherlands can go on, but we are down.
Sorry.
Yep. So I know Mendix really accelerates the application development, but there are some aspects that you still depend on IT a little bit, for example, an on-premise system to connect to. And I'm assuming those things still follow the traditional IT paradigm. How did you deal with such things, or are there any tips or lessons learned on, I don't know, maybe accelerate that, or do you pick the ideas that don't need such connections initially?
Yeah, that's the last part is a very important one. Oh, sorry. So the question is, of course, you also have integration in the background. Let me know if I translated it well. And do you also use Agile in that way? And what can you do to speed that up? And what I think is very important is look at your integrations and pick the most easy ones. I think the big mistake we made in the project last year, that it took about 12 months, indeed, like you said, before becoming about 12 months. A project manager, I've been a project manager my whole life. I can keep people enthusiastic for 6 months, but then it's over. Then boom, boom, and they fall down. So pick the easy ones, and then what we now also have done is we have set up a separate project for. We have now in these projects a lot of integrations. So we have set up a separate system which doesn't work in an agile way. We just plan it in a kind of a waterfall way because we have to integrate with SAP, we have to integrate with external system, Informax, Ubench. It's a lot of work, but we try to plan it in such a way that we already can go live, let the user already use it, get the feedback from them, and then we go further and further. So I think that's
for now it's a threat to our project, the integrations, because they take more time than we eventually thought. So that's well, that's a fact. We have to have the integrations to go on, but it's kind of a threat.
And what we also did is that Belgium, DEKRA Belgium did it themselves. They made a kind of an ESB, so an enterprise service bus, to integrate with the external systems. Hopefully, if we heard this morning the data hub thing of Mendix, that in the future we don't need it anymore, because I would like to have it in one platform. And you also said on-premise, we only use the cloud. In fact, in this project, we integrated 4 different cloud systems to each other. The first project 4 years ago. And to be honest, I was a little bit afraid when we went live. 4 different clouds, all the integrations between those clouds, performance, and people are quite used like pushing a button and don't wait for a second, or it should be there. And it worked already 4 years ago. So we are not running on-premise.
Yes, I was wondering, you in the early part of the presentation, you talked about the first project and that you stopped it after 2 sprints. I was wondering, what did you change?
A very, very good question. Shall I?
You were more involved than I was at that moment.
So what we did, in fact, we modeled the process, and a colleague of mine did that, and then I led the team to build it. And we started building it, and we built it exactly as he painted it. And that was like, jang, 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 very fixed. A process is never very fixed. What he meant is, I have milestone 1, and I have milestone 2. The order of activities between the milestones, I don't care at all. Just do it whenever you think it's good, because that's the flexibility you need in the process. However, if you jump across the milestone, then this AVLA rules picks in and says, did you do this because this customer wants you to do this if you go across the milestone? So now the users have flexibility between the milestones, because that's what they want, that's what they need. Because often you get a phone call from a customer, he jumps 2 steps ahead, you should be able to help him. So that's what we changed, and it took us, Catherine, 3-4 days. And so now we have flexibility in the milestones, but governance over the milestones, which is important. They are financial, they have to report on a kind of insurance company. So if they have really strict governance, also the customers expect that. So now I think you have the best of 2 worlds, flexibility and governance. Does that answer your question? And we found out, I always say, if we would have built this project in a waterfall way, then the customer would have said, there you have a bunch of IT potatoes again. Oh my God, they don't get the business. You could have thrown the system away, because it would have taken us 4 months, build it, and you can really, because they tested the first time, Catherine would have come in, would say, oh my God, now she comes in after 2 weeks, and you already sense something's maybe wrong. So I think that's really strong. Any more questions? Any objections? They say, hey, I don't agree with your story. And you say, what a kind of bullshit. Do you do your...
Then we go outside.
There you go. So kind of,
Thank you. If I just can pick into the first question, if you got an on-prem system or a backend system, and you go into with your Mendix team, I suppose you talked about the Mendix team, but in general, your project team, does it involve as well, let me call it backend developers, which might have more a waterfall system way of working? And how do you manage it?
More the architecture. We have people who look into the architecture, and that's more waterfall. The integrations are more waterfall. We have an IT manager who's closely involved in the architecture. So there is a team, and they work more in a waterfall way and look into the long-term decisions that we make.
And secondly, what we did is DEKRA hired 2 Mendix people. We trained them, we co-selected them, because always what we do, the first selection is, do they fit in the DEKRA culture? Second step in selection, just build an app. Mendix is for free to download, just build it. Then you can see how someone is behaving. Is he really interested in Mendix? What does he build? Does he know how a microflow, how does it work? So now there are 2 people trained, and they are building, joined with our team, they're building it, so they will do the DevOps later on. We are not there to stay for 10 years. There are lots of customers we would like to help, other customers, maybe there's some in the room, but it's not that we stay in for 10 years. I think if you really want to be really agile, you need to do it yourself. And we'll teach you, and we'll learn together. So, and they're 2 young guys, and they're bright guys, they're picking it up very fast.
That answers your question? I don't think
no?
so.
No?
Okay, let me address it differently.
Yeah.
It's just, in our project, we just started at Mendix and have now just one portal going on. The advice of Mendix team itself was, please, we do use SAP as our backend system. Please, before we start Mendix project, give us all your web services. And then we were like, okay, where is your agility? If you, on the one hand, on SAP developments, request to have everything, and then go agile on the Mendix way, I'm like, this is not really working. So how do you combine your backend development together with your Mendix development, going through your process and arriving with your goals?
Maybe a difference is that Mendix is our backend system.
But of course
We connect with also with SAP for the financial, but that's a connection. For us, it's an integration. But we do all our business is in Mendix. We have then Nolia for document management. We use Power BI for reporting. But in the core, for us, it's Mendix. That may be different.
But I can tell you a story about another customer, and there we run into the same issue. We started already the project, and we are running in the agile way, and the integrations, the architecture is not in place. You should wait. Sorry to say it, but you should wait, because otherwise it's going to bite you in the foot. It comes back to you. Our people can't go on. So please first have a good thinking about your architecture. Mendix is a great tool, but even also Mendix, it's even more important to think about architecture and Mendix.
That we did.
Yeah,
we started also with the architecture.
Yeah. So I think there's only one way to go. Think about first, make it ready indeed, because otherwise in your product you will be stuck, and your business will say, "Oh my God, what's happening now?" So,
and IT is in charge of the architecture, not the business.
No.
I think there is also an aspect of the bimodal IT, right?
Yeah.
So the agile Mendix team, people and process-wise, not just technology, interacting with the other IT for system access or the REST service being ready, because they have other things going on, right? Yep. So I think that maybe needs to be thought through, because that's an important thing that's going to happen in every enterprise. company which has both the modes.
Yeah.
So.
Any other questions? No? Then thank you, Jeroen.
Thank
you, audience. And